It's a Tuesday. It's January 16th, 2024. Your Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Hot Springs County Travel and Tourism, reminding you that with the cold weather and the snow at Thermopolis, you can always find yourself in hot water. Well, up and down. That'll be our temperatures. It'll be a little bit of a roller coaster ride, and your back porch thermometer is going to be getting a workout, kind of bouncing around a little bit, just like Bob Nelson's Wapiti, Wyoming thermometer here over the weekend. Those Saturday morning temperatures, very frigid across the west, but we're going to see that bitter cold air retreat more to the east. In fact, overnight, we did start to see temperatures moderate a little bit after we saw temperatures go far below zero during the evening and nighttime hours. As we mentioned yesterday, it's good news and bad news. The good news is that the cold air retreats. We're going to see wind come into the mountain gaps, and in particular the I-80 corridor, I-25 corridor, and the mountain passes, especially the mountain passes of Wyoming and Colorado, are going to have wind pickup. And with all the recent snow, we're going to have travel problems along Interstate 80, I-25. The mountain passes also throw in South Pass into that mix as well, as this is always a problem. After a big cold outbreak like this and you get snow, just happens. It's like death in Texas. You're going to see that wind kind of come in as the bitter cold air retreats to the east. This will lead to warmer temperatures. Many of you will notice this today, and that will continue into Wednesday and into early Thursday. However, as the bitter cold air consolidates in the Great Lakes, the Midwest, and the Northeast over the next couple of days, there's a little bit of a push westward back of this very cold air. So like waves on a beach, the wave is going back out, but it pushes back in as we go through the midday part of Thursday night into Friday. This is going to produce another round of snow, especially for the northern Rockies and the northern plains. This will bring another significant shot of snow to the mountains of the northern and central Rockies and the Pacific Northwest and the northern Sierra Nevada. In fact, in the last 7 days, there has been a 5 to 30% increase in snowpack levels from this recent turn of events. Now, over the last couple of days, I've shown you many pictures of sundogs, as we had sundogs all over the place, but I just have one more to show you. I think this is probably our best sundog picture yet. Yeah, how could you not like that shot of the dogs? Warm, snuggly, with the sunshine coming on in. They're not going to be going outside. So that's a great sundog picture. Thanks for sending that in. Now, as we take a look at the satellite imagery this morning, if you look very carefully, you can see where the jet stream winds are right now by following the clouds. And here's the big dip, the big trough, and the door open to Canada and all the bitter cold just sliding on into the nation's midsection. While we still have, notice here, and I'll show you a little bit more about this in a moment, the Pacific is very active. It's got a pretty moist jet stream wind that once this Pacific moisture gets a push eastward, that's going to start causing some weather along the west coast later. Now, if we were to go back, I just talked about how the snowpack really had a big increase. This is last Wednesday. This was the snow and ice cover across North America just about a week ago, 6 days ago. Look what's happened in the last 6 days. So you can see the expansion westward, southward, and eastward of the snow and ice cover across North America with this big change in the weather pattern here. So quite a turn of events, and this big area of snow cover will affect temperatures here for the next several days, especially to our east. So this is where we are with the 500 millibar chart this morning. You can see that big trough and the big, tight, compact area of bitter cold air right here. But this little wave right here, as it comes south along the jet stream, is going to take this tail of colder air. This is what will be pushing in as we get on into Thursday and Friday. However, this high pressure ridge and westerly winds coming this way will want to entrain, bring Pacific air back into the region eventually here, but it's a bit of a battle between air masses. These are the temperature anomalies by about noontime today. So you can see all the purple along and east of the divide getting all the way down into the Gulf Coast and slowly spreading more to the east. However, by tomorrow, you can see right here the orange pushing out along and east of the divide. Cold air does get trapped, though, in the valleys. You see this Snake River Valley here and then up into the Jackson area. A lot of times when the bitter cold air retreats to the east, the valleys and the basins don't necessarily scour out that very cold air. So you can see that here. You can see this in the Bighorn Basin, the Wind River Basin, the Snake River Basin right here, the valleys of western Colorado. So not everybody warms up because the snow-covered basins and valleys will hold that very cold air. But a lot of areas do start to see a bit of a Chinook effect by tomorrow noontime. So it is going to be able to moderate with temperatures. Now, we talked about the wind. This is what the wind's going to do between now and Friday. So you can see the green and the yellows and the oranges, especially along Interstate 80, the Front Range of Colorado before the winds ease up on Friday. So this is where we're going to be today. And as you can see, with snow cover extensive, especially along Interstate 80, I-25, this is a blowing snow problem. Blowing snow problems right here along the Wind River Mountains over South Pass, but the winds do let up considerably by Friday. So as that cold air retreats, be ready for blowing snow in some of these areas where you see these stronger winds. Some of these other areas won't have the wind, but there could be a real sharp delineation between areas where there's blowing snow and areas that don't get it. Now, this is by noon Thursday. That tail I talked about is right here. So there's a pocket of colder air that's going to want to head southeast. This is going to sideswipe areas along and east of the divide. And you can see it right there. There's another push of the purple there. Notice it stays right along the divide again, kind of like the last couple of days here where the bitter cold air just went along the mountains and east of the mountains. So there's basically one more shot of the very cold air yet to come, staying along and east of the divide. There's going to be weather with it. This is the precipitation that comes in with it. Notice there into Montana and the Dakotas and parts of eastern Wyoming and Nebraska, there's going to be snow. And then notice the high country gets right back into it again as well. So if you were to look at the total precipitation that comes on the next slide here, as moisture goes along that boundary, you're going to see a swath of snow across Montana, South Dakota, parts of Nebraska into Iowa again, parts of Wyoming, and then you can see the mountain areas are going to get another big slug of moisture right here in this next salvo of very cold air. It's a great way to make it snow in the mountains when you have these big Canadian pushes entraining Pacific moisture along with it. It's just a great way to make it snow in the mountains. And there you go. So there's going to be a moderate to heavy snow event in this band right here as we get into Thursday night and into Friday. And some areas along and east of the mountains will get a little bit of snow again as well across portions of Wyoming. And then there you can see the mountain snow. As we get into the weekend, temperatures go back up again. Why? Notice a much more westerly flow into the U.S. Basically, we're replacing air masses. The bitter cold air mass that's sitting right here now starts to get pushed by Pacific air. This is going to be an energetic, moist Pacific jet stream. This will lead to moderating temperatures by the weekend and into early next week across most of North America. The cold will linger up here in the Northeast. Notice the tight packing of the black lines here. Strong jet stream winds will drive Pacific moisture into the west, and we're going to see an uptick in West Coast precipitation. If you look at the precipitable water, see all the blue here? You're looking at greater than 100% precipitable water by this weekend coming into California, into the Intermountain West, driven along by those strong jet stream winds. So that's going to bring, look at that, California, you're going to get back into the mix with coastal rain, snow in the Sierra Nevada, Arizona, into the Great Basin here. That Pacific moisture pushes in. That's going to end up, again, helping the snowpack, pushing more snow even into the mountains of Wyoming and Colorado and Montana as well. But it'll be the West Coast ranges and the Great Basin ranges this weekend and early next week, that will fare the best to help out the snowpack a little bit more. Have yourself a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.